let's get started. So today we are going to talk about bubble and design, and for that we have Ludovic Sancho, who is a bubble design expert, a freelancer currently working at AirDev and also another project. He's also a design mentor at Creente and has been a design mentor at Otto. And we have Yogesh Dhakal, who is a product designer and a bubble developer, also a freelancer who is currently doing some work at Creme Digital and has also been launching some products. I've seen Web3 job, AI jobs, and I think you're working on ShipCamp these days.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly talk about it?
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone, I'm Yogesh. I'm a Bubble developer from Kathmandu, Nepal, and I'm currently working as a Bubble developer at Creme. So, currently doing part-time there and also working as a freelance developer at Jerovic, which is another Bubble development agency. And yeah, I used to be a product designer before. I worked at a Web3 startup for 2 years as a designer, and I recently quit on December. And apart from that, I like to build my own side projects, and I keep building something time to time whenever I get some idea. And yeah, I started Bubble because I wanted to build my own side project, and coding was difficult to get started. So yeah, and I started with the product Remote 3, and that probably made me around like over $15,000 in revenue, and that's how I started. And all of my experience in Bubble was from that, and me getting a lot of job in Bubble, freelance jobs to the Bubble developer job that I have right now is because of my side projects. Because people like what I built, people like the design, especially. I think uh, design has helped me a lot because when you have a well-designed application, people just see it and they perceive it as it's a good application. They like it even because people don't know how the product is, how the application is on the back end. They don't know how it works behind the scenes. This just draws you from the design of your products, right? So having a good design can really you know, help you on getting a job, you getting an unfair advantages over other developers and other people in the market.
Definitely.
So, what about you, Ludo? Do you want to say a bit more about you?
Well, really quickly, I share the same story. I wanted to create a digital product. I didn't want to spend years to learn a coding language. So I found Bubble and okay, yeah, that's amazing. Let's do it. And yeah, we created a product. It was awesome. But then COVID happened and I just turned into a Bubble freelancer and started to specialize myself in bubble design, like the front part of Bubble. And I really love to separate those two, like we are used to do in the normal development world. And I think we should do that more. And I would like to see more Bubble designers and rather than just, okay, I'm doing Bubble and I'm doing everything. No, I think there is a real true separation between, okay, I have design skills that I'm putting in Bubble, and I have a backend skills that I'm going to put in Bubble. I think there are two different worlds.
So what you mean is like you would like to see a more clear separation between front-end Bubble devs and back-end Bubble devs?
Yes. That's it.
I see.
Right.
Just a quick word about myself since I didn't introduce me. I'm Benoît. I'm a product designer and a Bubble developer, and I just founded my one-man agency working on Bubble and design. I think we can go ahead with the question I've prepared. So I think you talked about that just a bit before. So it was more like a front end, back end, but I think there's always a confusion between UX and UI, where UX is the whole experience and UI is a part of it. In both of your jobs, would you say you focus on UI, or are you doing really both of it and influence also the product strategy, or do you kind of focus on a specific part, maybe because this is what people are asking from you?
Maybe I can start sharing my experience. It depends on the client, and I think the stage the client is experiencing, because like some people are more aware that design is really important, so you can really talk about them from the difference about the difference from UX and UI. And I think most of the time people reach out to me to do UI work. Okay, my bubble app is ugly. I need I need help on the UI. But like most of the time, it goes like together, and I cannot work on the UI if I'm not working on the UX. So mostly I start giving like I start helping the clients on the UI perspective, but quickly it transforms into I go like deeper in the process, and the client give me more and more responsibilities, and I can work on the UX and the UI. What about you, Yogesh?
I'm mostly working as a developer, so I'm not mostly working as a front end or any design work in the current company. So I'm mostly working on the back end or full stack of the application, and not more on. But previously, I worked with design on other agency like Studio No Code. I worked with them on few projects, and on their projects, I mostly worked on more on the UI. So how the process would look like was they had the product managers and the other people in the team. Most of the product managers are the developers who were the founders as well. They would talk to the clients, and they would prepare a document about what the project is, and list out the features, and then they would create all use cases and a list of features, and I would just use that as a reference, and I would build out the wireframes. And initially we would do that, and we would create a prototype of the wireframe. Then we share that with the client to get the feedbacks from them, and once they approve the wireframes, and we move forward with the UI design. And after that, we create another prototype for the UI too, and so that developers can work more easily. They can know how the flow works, how different screens are connected with each other. That's our process when I worked at Studio No Code projects.
Okay. But you took parts of only the dev side, the backend part of the project, or did you work on the wireframes? Did you work on the mockups?
Yeah, so in the Studio No Code, I worked as a designer. So
Okay.
it was mostly the UI, but a little bit of user experience building the wireframes. But we didn't go deep into the user research.
Okay.
Yes. So basically, you're saying that based on the project, you would have different hats. On your own project, I'm assuming you kind of doing it all, but in your day-to-day, you would be a dev, and on some projects, you would go to the design side.
Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
I have some questions that are like more specific on each stage a product can be in. So can you discuss a time when the design decision that you made pre-launch have really impacted the user adoption and changed like the scope of the development? I don't know, maybe Yogesh, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So, not on the client projects, but on my own project, not during the lunch, but I had a project already in my project remote tree. So we had newsletter subscribers. We had a newsletter form in the website, and initially people could just come to the website and apply for jobs. And if they wanted to, they could subscribe to the newsletter or sign into the platform. But then I made a change in the design, so instead of letting them apply to jobs directly, they had to first sign up to the platform, and only they would get access to apply to different jobs. So after that, our newsletter subscribers started growing like 2x amount, and I also tracked some of the clicks on the newsletter form and the signups that we are getting, the newsletter subscribers that we are getting from the apply page. And the one in the apply page was working like 2 to 3x better than the newsletter form, because
Mm,
people, if they wanted to apply, then they had to sign up to the platform, and which would automatically add them to the newsletter list. So that's how we grew our newsletter listing to around like probably maybe we're over 10,000, but I need to check how much we have in total. But we are probably around 12,000 newsletter subscribers just because of that.
Just because like you kind of automatically added the people that created an account to the newsletter, it allows you to grow it like exponentially.
Yeah, so just because like they have to sign into the platform to apply to jobs, so that's how they are added to the newsletter list as well, and uh, our newsletter list grew by 2x amount.
mm, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, really interesting. It makes me think about a project that I worked on a few years ago, and well, it's not really pre-launch, but this client came up to me and said, "Okay, my Bubble app is ugly. I need help on the design." And we worked during like 6 months on like on the UI mostly. I didn't really work on the UX, but then when we launched the update, she told me that okay, in just a few weeks they they received more visits and more subscription, like 30% more subscription than the previous design. So the work on the design really helped to convey trust and confidence to the product, and really helped the sales got up. So this time it worked. It worked great, very really good, really good.
Nice. I'm just setting up like a quick post on Twitter so that we can get the question and the chat because it's not working on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm going to share that in a second with Sarah so that we can have some questions and then read about that. Okay. Next question. Yeah. So how would you balance client expectation with in terms of design and feasibility for the front end early stage? Do you have some tricks that you can share?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so sometimes you might get a design and it might not be doable as is. So how do you manage expectation, and what are tips that you may have to get the client happy without compromising too much the design?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, you always have to twist the design. I think about like a specific case where you're not where you're not the designer, when you didn't like create the Figma files and you have to integrate them in Bubble. So you have something made from maybe an amazing designer in Figma, but it's not really doable, feasible on Bubble. So you have to adapt some things. You have to change a little bit the design or the layout to adapt it to Bubble. And most of the time, like most clients, they don't really care as long as it looks similar. But sometimes, like you have more difficult clients, they want like a pixel perfect design, and they want it exactly how it is done on the Figma file. And that's when you have to. I think the tip would be okay to talk previously with the client and say, okay, let me introduce you to Bubble. Maybe you don't know how Bubble works. It is not like a custom. Yeah, Bubble is pretty customizable, but there are some limitations. So you have to understand that I will maybe like change some stuff about the design, but I will do my best. And I think like having this conversation before the project starts with the client really make the whole process easier after.
Sounds good. Makes sense. Yogesh, do you have yourself some tips?
No, I actually haven't like faced such issues because we mostly work with in-house designers, and either I'm
Mm,
working as a designer or I work with an in-house designer, so they know the what can be built, what cannot be built, so they don't design anything extraordinary. So as long also clients don't care for a few small changes as long as the design is good. You don't need to make everything exactly what's in the design. You can make changes, you can talk to them, and it doesn't affect that much, I guess, because a lot of things is pretty much doable in Bubble, unless it's some crazy animations and some like really, you know, something that's really have to be built in some kind of fixed group. Like in Figma, you can use auto layout and you can not use auto layout, or you just build anything, right? You can design anything in the Figma, but as a designer who works with developers, they eventually learn to build things that are doable. So if you see some designers on Dribble and all this stuff, then they would just design anything, but when they start working with actual developers and then they start to learn those things, and they don't do such things, to make
hmm
it hard for developers to build. So
hmm
you usually don't face such issues, but sometimes some kind of designs cannot be built, or you don't find some plugins for some kind of progress bar in Bubble. So for those things, those things can be changed. Clients don't care much about that.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It makes me think about like this kind of plugin that brings your Figma directly into Bubble. I think Yogesh, you've been using it. I'll be curious to hear what you think about this. And I think it's not just in Bubble, but in development in general, where you start seeing these things, these tools that generate code based on the Figmas. Yeah, curious to hear your thoughts around it.
It's called design. So it lets you convert the designs from Figma to Bubble. So it's amazing. It reduces the work time by around 50% to 7%, I would say, during the initial phase, when you don't have any styles and you don't have any components on the Bubble application. You can just convert anything from there. All of the styles are converted. You don't have to manually enter those. You just click on convert, copy the component from the extension and paste it in Bubble, and you just make some changes on the responsiveness, and then you create styles for it. It's amazing. Like I've been using it for all of the applications that I'm building right now,
I
and it's
think this is the first time I'm hearing a positive feedback on that extension.
Yeah, it's amazing. When I first heard about it, I thought, no, this wouldn't work. I wasn't sure that it would be good. But when I tried it myself, I just I just subscribed to it. Before even using, I had only tried it with the small components, but I thought maybe I would just subscribe to it and I will try to copy big components. And after that, like, it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone should actually try it. It has a free version available. It's called design DEEJETIGN.io, I guess, by Beck. So you should try it.
Okay, yeah, definitely do. Definitely.
Also,
Alright.
one more thing. So,
Yeah.
so when you're converting any species from copying species from Figma to Bubble, so this plugin converts it as an HTML component in Bubble. So what that does is when you're loading a page, the icons load like super fast. As soon as the page is visible, the icons becomes visible. So unlike uploading an image, uploading an SPCs as an image and
Mhm.
copy the SPC code in the HTML component, it's crazy fast. No, it loads as soon as the page loads. So then there's one more upside to that.
Is it like
Okay.
another plugin, this one, or are we still talking about the same?
Yeah, the same plugin, or you don't even need to use the plugin. When you are in dev mode in Figma, you can copy SVG code of any icons that are SVG, that are vector files, and you can paste it in Bubble inside an HTML component,
Okay,
HTML element. So that would make loading icons super fast.
interesting. So it means that you would have each icon would be a different HTML element in your bubble
Yeah,
app. Okay.
yeah.
And so you don't even have to upload them in your option set, or I don't know how people would do it, but
Yeah, you can do that in option set. You can have text field in the option set inside any option set, and you can paste the code over there. And one more benefit of using an SPC code is you can make the color changes in the SPC directly from Bubble. You don't need to upload another icon to change the color of the icon.
interesting.
Hmm.
I have been using the Iconify plugin because I wanted to have the lucid icons, and on this one you can change the colors and all, but I guess it wouldn't be instant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. Have you ever been in a situation where an app goes in beta and you got feedbacks that make you redesign the whole part of an app or a feature?
Yes. Yes. And recently. So I've been working on a project for a long time now, like for more than 2 years, I think. And it's a reservation platform to book like workshops and to learn English basically, but like learning English for professionals. And so you have to book workshops. And from the beginning, I said to the client, okay, this is a booking reservation style app. So we need a calendar. We need a calendar so people can project themselves and book the date they want to. But well, calendars can be tricky in Bubble, so we didn't want to do it. So we just created a list with a lot of dates and a lot of just the dates of the workshops that are upcoming. And yeah, we did the update, and when we received feedback from one client said, okay, I dropped out the reservation process because I couldn't find the date I wanted or something like that. And then just with this one feedback, the client came back to me, okay, we need to do something because it's not like the users they don't understand how to book, and they don't find the dates they need. And I said, yeah, I said it. We need a calendar. So right now we are going to work on a calendar view. That's why user research is important.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes you have some ideas on the product, but you can't really back them up. It's more like a gut like instinct, and sometimes you need to. I mean, most of the time you need to put the product in front of people to actually get the feedback and make something out of it. Yogesh, did you also have some examples that you can share?
No, I don't have such experience. But I had an experience where I had to change the development because the client hadn't reviewed the design. So the designer made the designs. I started building it, and we had a few features built, and the design was in dark mode. Then later, the client reviewed it, and they said, "No, we don't want a dark mode design. We want a light mode design. We want different design direction, different logo." And I had to like redo everything, but it wasn't much work on my side because we had the variables, the style setup, so I only had to make changes on those, but the design had to put some work on converting the dark mode to light designs.
I see. Okay. So as designers, we often hear design is never done. I wanted to ask you, like, how often do clients come back to you post-launch because they want to make iteration on the product and improve things?
Always. They always come back. And it's good because like at the beginning they're a little bit afraid. Okay, this is new. I never paid someone to do some design work. This is expensive. Why do I have to pay that much for design? I don't really understand it. And when you start like showing the benefits of design, and they trust you, they always want more, and there are always changes for a product because maybe because of the client's feedbacks, or because the product vision is changing, or they want to launch another service, another product. So the design, this is so true. Design is never done, and even like in my work, when I see the work I did like 2 years ago on the project, and I'm still working on that project 2 years later, sometimes I think, wow, why did I do this? Why did I do this like that? It's not like I have to update this because like design trends, they change, they evolve every year, and you become a better designer. You gain more skills, and sometimes you build something on Bubble, and 2 years later you have new techniques to build this same thing, and you realize like you build it in a non-scalable way. So yeah, you have to rebuild it to make it more sustainable in the future. I think there is a big part of Bubble that, okay, how do I make my design system? How do I make this workflow? How do I make this layout, this structure sustainable on the long term? Because if there are any kind of changes, I need to do the changes like really quick, and I need to think about it right now to be able to make the changes really quick after.
Yeah, so you're saying like in the long run, you want to set up your Bubble app so that changing the style and changing the design would be an easy thing.
Yeah.
But and yeah, regarding like looking back at the work you've done before, sometimes you're like, why didn't I even do that? But I think you have to start. I mean, you always need to start with something, and even if it's bad, it's still something that you can improve on. You won't get the best version from the get-go. So I
Yeah.
think it's healthy to go through these iterations. And also maybe sometimes when looking at products, the design you need in the beginning is not the same you would need like 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yogesh, do you want to also speak about like this design is never done thing?
So for me, like all of my projects that I have done in my initial days, it was usually one-off projects. I used to work in one-off projects, and later on, I joined a company, something like a SaaS company, like a startup. But they had like new projects coming, one after another. So I never really had the chance to work on the same project, keep iterating on it. It has always been just new projects every single time.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, go for
and I think, sorry?
no, go for it.
Okay. And I think like most of the time, we think that like, okay, I'm a bubble designer, I'm a bubble developer. I will create an app for a client, and then I will teach the client to how to manage the app and how to continue the work without me. But I feel like this is never this never works. I never or maybe like the client will find someone else. But this is like if I have to run if I'm the client, I have to run a business. And if I don't have the skills or the if I don't have the skills at the beginning and I let someone build my app for me, it will be really difficult to maintain and do all the changes I want after. So I think this is a long-term thing. When you create a bubble project, I think it needs a team, or if you don't have a team, like a freelance that can work with you on the long term, because the work is never done and you always need some changes. And I never had like an experience of, I had this project. I worked, the same project. I worked on the design and the sales got up at 30%. And I stopped working with them for a few months. And like maybe 6 months later, I came back to the page, to see what they were doing and to maybe to add this page to my portfolio. And I realized that they deleted everything I did. They deleted everything. So I asked the founder, what happened? What happened? You said yourself that the design helped you gain more subscription, and now I see that you came back to the other version. And what she said was really really important. She said that, yeah, well, we tried to maintain the app when you were not available, and it was too difficult, and we couldn't do it like you with the same level of expertise. So we decided to just came back to the older version and with a design way simple, so we could manage it. And I did a lot of videos, a lot of teaching to this client to say, okay, I created this page. This is how you can change the data, and this is how where you need to go in the option sets to update. If you want more options in this drop down, for example, you need to go there and you can change this there. But even with that, they weren't able to maintain the same level of design in their bubble app.
I see. So you're saying most of the time it should be like a long-term relationship where
Yep.
you would work with someone and then you would
Yes.
update things in the long run. I'm just
Yes.
going to quickly show my tweet to people so that they may be able to ask questions if they want to. Sorry about that. Like I wasn't able to activate the chat on YouTube. So if you want to ask question, you can go on my Twitter at Benoît, and you can comment on this tweet. We'll be getting the question from you. In the meantime, I had like a rapid fire round of 3 questions. Maybe you can do one each. So let's start with Yogesh. What's one design tool you relied on the most during a recent app launch?
Figma.
Figma, yeah, that's an easy one. You have another one than Figma, maybe?
Yeah, Miro.
Miro?
Yeah.
Okay. The whiteboard thing?
Yeah, the whiteboard, yeah. For wireframing or explaining process, or just to have like visual representation of the skeleton of a feature. It is yeah, my go-to app.
I'm on a FigJam myself. I think it's kind of
Yeah,
basic.
it's the same. It's the same.
All right. What's one design tip you would give to someone looking to launch their product? Maybe Yogesh, if you want.
Yeah, don't focus too much on aesthetic. If you don't have like a good visual eye, so just try to make something usable. Try to build something useful. Don't worry too much about aesthetic, because you can always work on that when you start making some money and you can hire designers. So don't worry much about that when you are trying to launch. Just ship it first and get feedback from users.
Yeah, confront. The
So
most important thing.
just ship it when
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
It's difficult, huh? It's difficult. I have some problem with that too. I'm not able to publish something that's that's not like good looking, but I'm still working on that.
Different for us. We are designers, right? So
Yeah.
we have good. So I'm only suggesting for people who are not good with design.
Uh-huh.
I have one more. So we said when it comes to launching, it's better to just ship it. But let's say someone is looking to make a redesign in their app. What's a tip you would give them?
Hire someone.
Yeah, exactly. Hire a designer. But if you don't have money for it, use something like a free design system from Figma community. There are a lot of free good design systems available, good design resources available there, and use the design Figma to bubble convert it for you.
I think it's interesting because like when it comes to redesign, there are like different aspects of it. There is the UI itself, there is the experience on some feature, and there is maybe some things you want to add. And I think when you want to do a redesign of an app, it's hard to really be clear on these different parts. And maybe when you try to do it all at the same time, it can be hard. So maybe, yeah, just starting with a design system and apply it just to make it look good can be a first step, and then you can think about the overall experience itself.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, why would you want to redesign if you don't have money? Like, if the product doesn't work, why do you want to redesign the product? Like, make it works without the good design, and when it works and you have money, like now it's the time to think about the redesign, right?
Yeah, but if they want to design, if they want to update some of the experience side, if they want to make more better flows, easier to navigate around, then they should redesign, but not like by hiring a designer, but trying to do something in the Figma, trying to map out. So by just using pen and paper, like that's all you need.
Yeah.
And just use pen and paper, try to make something more usable. Just think as a user, or you just have to think like, if this is easy for others. I think it's just common sense for me, like building something usable. Like just think from a user perspective, and also think like, is this actually like easy to use? Can this be confusing to users? Is this maybe confusing? And if you are not sure about that, then just try to improve it by yourself.
Yeah, and I think like when you said, Ludo, that make the app work and then you hire a designer and you pay for it. I think at this point, design can really help you maybe, double your benefits or just get a lot more clients, because it will be better looking, and it will also, if you can also improve the experience, it can really get your product from one stage to another.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like maybe sometimes design is really, really important to make the product works, because if it is like a luxury product, for example, it will never work without a good design, because luxury like is associated in the mind. Okay, if it is a luxury, it should be looking good. So if you want to start a luxury business and your digital product is not, your mobile app is not looking good, I'm not really sure that it would work. But if it's not the case, if you're not working on a luxury case, make it work first, and then think about the design.
I think it's a good point, because you could also say, if it's a brand new product and you're doing something that no one else has been doing, then design might not be important to begin with. But if you're trying to go on the territory where there are a lot of other software, a lot of competitors, then you might want to use design as a differentiator from the beginning, by providing a better experience.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. That's true. Like, for example, if I want to create the new Figma, it will be difficult to do it without a good design, because people are already using Figma a lot, and to be able to take a place at the side of Figma, yeah, you need design. But it depends, like on the on the the target audience. It depends on the business objective. So there are a lot of parameters.
All right. We have 2 minutes left. I didn't get any question on Twitter.
Okay.
If we do that another time, I try to get the chat working. I'm sorry about that. I would like to let you maybe conclude the session, and if you had like some final tips you want to give, go for it. Yogesh, you want to start?
Yeah, just make something usable and ship it. If you have money, hire a designer. Yeah, and that's what I would say.
I like it. It's clear, it's simple, it's direct. Yeah, I love it. What can I say now? No, I mean, what I could say is maybe like train your eye. Train your eye. It is really important. Like design is everywhere. I feel like I think like everything around us, there is some design in it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, and most of the time it's bad, sadly. But yeah, design is everywhere. So start like paying attention to what you see in life, and think about, okay, how this product is designed, and how can I apply that to my product, or to my work. And I think it's a beautiful way to improve skills and to create just better products at the end.
So you're saying to people who are not designer, maybe start by looking at existing products, start by kind of copying it, and then you can improve later on.
Designers also. That's the main work of designer, to train every day.
All right. Thanks a lot, you two, for joining. It was a really cool session. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you too for organizing.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, Yogesh, for staying up that late. And I wish you a nice end of week. I hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.